Good morning. We are live. This is We Lead Live. I'm Allie Brown. I'm here with our special guest, Jennifer Kem. It's good to see you.
Oh, it's so good to see your face. It's so good to see a face. We're kind of dressed up. We have pants on. We have hair. We've got lipstick and a mascara. This is exciting.
Yeah. And I was talking with Jen in the pre-chat. My background's going to look different today because I'm actually at a hotel in the Phoenix area here. So I'm in a meeting room today. I was exciting to put, again, like real pants on and a real bra. And, it feels like official. It feels very official today. So I'm excited. I wanted to have you on the show today, Jen, because when I was making the list of the women I wanted to have on here for this first round, especially, you have such a great perspective being through these types of times before. This ain't your first rodeo. With multiple types of businesses, you've built an 8-figure business, multiple 7-figure business, and when I mean multiple 7-figure businesses. You have such just this wisdom and acumen about these types of situations. And I wanted you to be able to share with everybody, from your perspective, both within your business and behind the scenes with everything going on now, what should we be thinking of? How do we plan? Everyone's talking about the pivot. Is it possible to do it too fast? So we're going to go through all that, but I'd love you to start off with a bit about your background. And by the way, Jen was a guest on my Glambition Radio just a few weeks ago, and we went into real deep on that if you want to hear the full story and some interesting language choices. When we
It was fun. It was fun. We were just ourselves, and that was really great. So I plan on just continuing that route today. So thanks so much, Allie, for inviting me back in to this. This is exciting. Thanks for doing this. I think this is so important right now. And whether you're watching this years from now or right now, the conversations are always applicable to what do you really need to be thinking about, especially during times of uncertainty, right? But the funny thing is, everything's always uncertain. And I think it's having the right advisors and people around you to support you that's critical. And we can talk about that a little bit later. But about me, I'm Jennifer Kem. I am the CEO of Masterbrand Institute. We're located in the Silicon Valley, so San Francisco Bay Area. And we have a campus here where we help entrepreneurs build their brands online and offline. So that's what I currently do.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to talk a bit about the long road there, though? The shorter version of the long road?
Yeah.
I think it's important, a bit about your background, like how you know what you know.
Mm-hmm. So just, I've lived, as Allie referenced, I'm not a spring chicken. I'm a seasoned chicken, been around quite a while. So, and in 2001 and 2008, when we had an economic event in United States, right now we're in United States. If you're not, if you're listening, it's from somewhere else, just to give that reference point. And in 2001 and 2008, I had both of those things. In 2001, I had a corporate job and I lost my job. I got laid off. And so rebuilding my corporate career was something I had to do. And then, 5 years later, there was an incident, frankly, in my corporate job that made me realize I don't want to work for anyone anymore. I wanted and craved autonomy so much to be able to design my future. I didn't know what that really looked like, but I talk about on the podcast that I made a 9-month plan. I didn't just jump off the ship, which is kind of how I do things, it seems. I took a 9-month plan to exit my job on good terms in my corporate career as a VP of marketing at Verizon, and then created a company, my first company, which had nothing to do with consulting, had nothing to do with business strategy. It had everything to do with underwear, which we're also wearing today, which is exciting. Allie talked about bras. So, I opened a retail store. I opened a brick and mortar retail store that in 18 months turned into an 8-figure business with multiple locations and an expansion plan to go to areas where people, companies, especially Victoria's Secret, weren't really servicing. And so, and then that was 2006, and then 2008 came, and that was the Great Recession in the United States, and I lost everything. And the main reason that I lost everything is because I didn't have cash reserves. And that goes into what happens today and what's happening right now. And people have asked me, what are you doing now? And how are you able to stay afloat and keep your staff? And I feel partly lucky but not really. I feel mainly, thank God for those 2 times in history where I had to figure out how to adapt and adjust and then use
Yeah.
my business and my business acumen to get me where I am. And then I realized after that, just, how I got to where I am now is I am better serving people with that, which is like the stuff, the strategy and the inner stuff that it takes to adapt and still thrive
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
uncertain times.
We, those of us who are a little older, but not that old, um, when you go through something like that, you don't forget it, at least subconsciously, and you are better prepared, and I know all of you, some of you may be going through this right now saying, wow, I didn't realize I need so many months of cash reserves ready. I didn't really even think of what happened if something like this happened, what I do with my team. And so everyone's going to come out a better business person, unless they're falling off the map, right? And they're like, this isn't for me because this is real business. What we're going through right now, this
Yeah.
is the real deal.
Yeah.
So tell us in your current business right now, the last time I talked with you, and did we do the interview before COVID hit? Was it
It
like
was like
early in the
right, it was early in it. So
Yeah,
it
I
was,
think we
yeah,
weren't even, it wasn't even a thing. And I
no,
think you and I were even talking about how much we insist on live events,
yes,
how much we love live events.
yes.
And, with all the shifts happening right now, talk about what's going on for you personally in your business and your companies.
Yeah, so I mean, in terms of revenue streams, live events was a big part of what we did because we were a campus. We invite people. We actually have a building that we have people come to, and we have invested capital into that. And so, besides the revenue stream being shut off, literally shut off, at least in person, there's expense. There's overhead. There was building management. There were things like that. And so that was the first thing that we needed to really tackle was how do we, if we can't even offset revenue wise what we would do for a live event, what could we do online? What could we do, or what would we be willing to trade off in order to build something better?
Hmm.
Um, since we have still no true runway as of this moment when we can do that again. Because even when they talk about, the suggestion is to do 50 or less people, there's a stigma and there's a fear in people to even show up, even if there's only 20 people there,
Right. Right.
right?
'Cause even if you have it and it's loud, are people going to want to travel? Like
Correct.
it's more even about everyone's state of mind, going forward.
Correct. Exactly. And so for us, it was like, I can't bet on people's emotions. And I think that's the other thing about business
Mm,
is you create positioning and marketing and messaging around what you believe your audience wants based on engaging with them. But when there's this outside force that none of us have control over, this is a shared experience. Whether we like it or not, it's a shared experience. And so there's no shifting or changing that. So what we have to do is go, what can I do to serve the audience in a way that uh, respects the current fear that's not
yeah.
just coming from them, but serious outside forces, the media, politics, all those things. And so it was like, look, I'm not going to try to change that, because if I try to change that, I'm just going to waste my time, my money, my energy. So I'm going to put my attention on what we can do. And so, yeah, we had to shut down our physical location, obviously. And we plan on probably doing that for at least another month as of this recording. And then figure out, do we need to do it more in small cohorts, kind of like you, Ali, right now? I'm jealous of you right now that you're going to be meeting with a client. That's really fun. And I love that. I love bringing people together and learning together. And but we'll probably do them in small cohorts, 5 or less type of idea, for at least the foreseeable future. And then we focused. Right now, I was mentioning to Ali before we went on, we are not even launching anything new right now on purpose. And I can talk about why we're doing that next if you want.
Yeah, well, let's talk about it, because I've had a lot of people asking me as well, like, what are you doing, and blah blah blah. And I think there's it's an interesting, people don't even know how to view the possibility of digging into your strategy for a quarter. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Versus just making another move and pivoting and doing something now. That's what everyone's hearing, right?
yeah,
Versus, and granted, bills must be paid, things need to go on, but everything you guys are seeing on the surface isn't the whole story for especially the very savvy business owners who can use this time to redesign, to re-strategize, to take everything they've built that is working and then say, okay, how do we make this even better coming out of the gate in a month or two or whatever timeline that would be?
Yeah, and Ali, you're so good at doing this because you gather people together, especially women, to have bigger conversations. And I think that's what's so valuable about what you do. Well, there's a lot of value to what you do, but that's like one of the things that makes what you do so special, because too many times when we're in our business and you hear the term, try to learn how to work on your business instead of inside of your business. But I have even a different philosophy from that. I believe we need to work above our business. We have to be eagles, not phoenixes, right? If we're always being the phoenix that burns and then reemerges and has that whole story, I get it, because I have a phoenix story, a couple myself. But if I focus on just that and not being an eagle, like really above the business and take the time, it becomes, there's no leadership, because the team can be eager. If you have a good team, or even one person on your team that's really good at doing things, executing things, without leadership, they're just also hitting a wall and then feeling bad about themselves that they're not producing the results that they did before, because the core strategy currently doesn't fit. And so we do, there's something that we do no matter what, Ali, good times, bad times. And it's called the AAR strategy. And every company needs to be doing this all the time, which is attention, acquisition, and retention. So we're always asking, what is our grade? We actually score ourselves. Are we an A or an F or a C in attention, acquisition, or retention? And then we measure the people, the process, and the technology to support those three areas. Okay. Mm-hmm. That's our simple way of planning every quarter and yearly. But now that we're in this time, most of the time you spend a lot of money or advertising or people on attention and acquisition, right? Mm-hmm. During good times, attention and acquisition. And you still have to get attention and acquisition, but our strategy has been, we flipped it. So our focus has been retention, attention, acquisition. So in normal times, it's been attention, acquisition, retention. We've flipped the script, and we've spent the last almost 2.5 months now just focusing on our current clients, whether they are, I have big corporate clients and I have also entrepreneurs, and we said, how can we reset our PPT, our people, process, and technology, to support them, to still feel like we have more, we care, but which we already do, but it's like hyper caring, hyper focused. Yeah. And because what we want to make sure that the people who work with us still value our services, right? And I think that's so important. We can't take for granted that. So we did that. We focused on that. And then our secondary strategy is attention. So it's like making sure that we're still giving valuable content that's relevant to now, because that's what people want to read. That's what the media wants to cover if you pitch yourself to media. And then thirdly, acquisition, which we took a longer lead time. In fact, I was sharing with Ali that we're not going to even launch something until August. And, all this started around mid-March, and we have other revenue streams that give us money. So that's good. But in terms of like a big moneymaker, like a revenue stream that would replace what a live event would have done for us, because we had to cancel it, we waited, because I wanted to make sure that we prioritized retention, attention, keep nurturing, and then we'll go and get the money. And I'm not going to be, people have told me, aren't you worried because you should go grab the money up front, because by that time people are going to be more scared, more nervous. And I said, I can't control how people are feeling, but what I can control is the value that I give and my ability to make them see how it's going to work in their life.
And, I think it's interesting too, there's a distinction between those of us whose business is revolved around a thoughtful sale that is more of an investment for the client versus a reactive quick fix solution. So right now out there on the market, when you see everyone selling stuff all over online, it's a lot of this quick fix, reactive, the make money now. You and I have had something similar in that we attract more of the long game
Yeah.
entrepreneurs, the ones that are really like, okay, what is this really about? And often that's a longer sales process, and it's a different sales process. So can you talk a bit about how this could be different for different types of businesses and how they sell and who they serve?
So if you're a service-based consultant, coaching, training company like I have, I'd go, everything I just shared with you in terms of realizing that you can use online technology, online resources, instead of going, I have to go all online, I have to sell online. Now I have to learn how to build this huge audience and sell these $37 products.
Please don't,
No,
by the way, if you're watching this.
don't do that. Don't do that. Learn how to be better at, let's say, orchestrating an event online in a way that's not douchey and desperate. And, really think about what are the aspects of why people came. If live events and trainings and seminars are part of your revenue stream, ask yourself, what are the components of that I can put into an online experience? Because it's not going to be replicated apples for apples, but you can bring things in, be innovative, make it exciting, create different ways of engagement, game it so that people stay on with you for if you have a 2-day event. You get to be creative. It's actually kind of fun. It becomes a little bit more artistic, and you don't have all the overhead anymore of the live event. And I want to say also, Ali, for us, we absolutely, the moment that this all starts to dissolve, which there's a long road in front of us, I'm still going to do live events because people, just like we've said, oh my gosh, cities are opening. Let's get our nails done. Let's get our hair done. Let's be with our people. That's part of the magic of working with you, Ali, and in your community, is that you bring together such high quality people. And when I say that, like of thinkers, of strategists, of people who are like thoughtful about the way that they do their business. So don't mistake online for, now I got to create all these like ridiculous funnels and like whatever they call them, tripwires and things like that. I mean, you can build some of those systems in, but for the purpose of having the sales conversation, back to your question about sales, still have it so that it's a nurturing long-term thing that then results in a conversation with you or your sales person on your team, instead of it being like, check out here kind of thing.
Yeah. And all of you watching right now, I want you to really take this in, because if you learn how to think this way, when this happens again one day and something weird will happen or will feel like it happens, you could just tell how quickly things can change now.
Yes.
If you learn to think this way, you will be fine. You will be able to start and grow businesses over and over and over the rest of your career. And I want to really make this clear. If you are only learning the tactics right now or the quick sales strategy that's happening right now, okay, you're going to be in the same boat. It could be even sooner than you think. So, and this is, I just want you to hear what a different conversation it is with Jen and these women I'm bringing on, because it is a long game strategy that still comes with, plenty of cash infusion. This isn't about just sitting there and thinking it through either, but it's this balance that I see really missing.
Right. I mean, would I rather get $5,000-$10,000 short-term clients, and that's $50,000, for example, rather than spending $45K on team advertising on Facebook to make $5,000? These things are important to consider when you're looking at what you should do next. And I think it's important, to your point, Ali, is you got to plan it out. You still got to take the time to think, to plan, to be creative, but also not go away from your core competencies and then do these radical things that then you confuse people about who you are. And it causes more damage actually in the long term than you think.
Yeah. So you've often given a colorful description of your home life, and I hope you won't let me down today. I want to hear because sorry, I'm already laughing. Let me know how it's all going down at the Chem household on lockdown.
So just yesterday, it started. The weather's weird too. I don't know if it's weird. It's like it was snowing in New York, and then in the Bay Area, it was actually quite nice. But the past 3 days, it's been raining really hard, and so our roof caved in. So that happened 2 days ago, and then there's nobody who'll come and fix your roof because California is still in lockdown, right? So that's pain in the ass, okay, frankly. And so basically I don't have a dining room. And secondly, we have a 5-year-old. And so he's bouncing off the walls. And although his teachers are doing a great job providing. So I'm grateful for that.
Right.
He is every minute of the day, he needs to create a wacky game for us to play. And the games make no sense. I feel like a complete idiot when I go downstairs and take a break because he's like, Mommy, now that the dining room table's in our living room because we have a hole in our roof, you know, he creates these games that make no sense. And I have to pretend that I know how to play. So I just laugh a lot. And, you know, and since it's raining, we can't swim in our pool. So it's just, we're kind of cooped up. And so it's been.
Yeah, a little cuckoo. Yeah, you're getting quarantine fatigue. I know, I feel
100%.
it. Because the first few weeks were like, this is, it's time with the kids. We're going to be okay. And then like, it just started to get.
Just don't even know how to entertain them anymore. Like I got to figure out the costumes. Like I got to dress up like a clown or something to get this guy interested because he's so bored that my husband and I feel like we have to, I don't know. It's been wild.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Five is like, and ours are about to turn 7 too. And, we have to have the whole birthday party discussion that like, it's not going to be what we always dreamed, but it's going to be fun still. And so it's, it's been good though in so many ways, but like, I can't tell you how happy I was to come to a conference room today to do this call and to have
I'm jealous. I'm telling you, I'm living vicariously through you today.
Come on down. Arizona's on the up. Maybe it's the heat here. It just burns all this shit away. I don't know. So, last words of advice for everybody. And then I want you to tell them about your quiz and, just let them know what's available from you right now.
Awesome. Well, I think the bottom line is if you're strategizing and taking the moment that Ali and I have been talking about to really think about how you can be of value and create something exciting and also on brand for you instead of radically going out the other side, you have to really get to the heart of your messaging and the heart of your positioning and what you want to be known for, not just now, but tomorrow and the next day. And to me, that's what makes you pandemic proof. That's what makes you future proof. That's what makes you be able to navigate hard times, as Ali and I have been talking about. So I have this diagnostic that I give clients to assess their messaging power or their strength in how they message what they do. And it's called the Archetype Influence Mix. And so I want to share it with you if you want to take it. It's masterbrand.me/Ali Brown. It's special for Ali's people because normally we have people come in and buy this thing for us for $250 every single day. But I want to give it to you because if you're listening, I know you're a serious business person, businesswoman, most likely, who wants to not just grow, but make sure that you're thriving for the long game. And it comes down to like knowing our messaging, who we are, what we stand for, what our values are, why people would care to work with our brand. And so this diagnostic helps you do that. So I hope it supports you. Take it, share it on Ali's feeds, let me know. And I'd love to help you in any way.
And my team watching right now, put that in the comments for everybody on the platform. So it's in there, that link. And can you repeat it one more time?
Sure. It's masterbrand.me/Ali Brown. So it's not .com, it's .me. So masterbrand.me/Ali Brown.
You're so smart. So smart how you do stuff. So I just want to give a quick reminder to everyone that the show today is sponsored by The Trust. The Trust is my new network for 7- and 8-figure women entrepreneurs. And I do get questions. Sometimes people are like, well, why isn't this open to all women? And this is, someone even said this feels a bit elitist. And it's, I can't emphasize enough that it just becomes a different conversation when you're at those levels. And if those of you have questions and you want to learn more about that, there's an episode I did on my show, Glambition Radio, earlier, the very first one this year, I believe, that was on the problem with women's networks. And it was all on how, there's plenty of places for you to go, meet people and learn. It's kind of like the general internet, right? When you look at the online space, like there's tons of free information. But man, when you tap into the right conversation and the right people and the right information, that changes everything. And so it is for the women who've reached those higher levels, because it's not only also even the revenues, it's who you've become in the process. And Jen, just last words on everything you've been through, and because who you've become is just as important, if not even more, I think, than the wisdom that you've gained, right? Like, because you've always been strong, but you've been through a lot now with your business and your companies, aside from your past things in your life. So could you share a bit on that?
Yeah. The truth is that whatever you've gone through is the ingredient for what's possible. And what I've learned is that sometimes what doesn't feel good today is what's absolutely going to feel good tomorrow, right? And a lot of people talk about presence, and I think that's incredibly important. Knowing what you need to focus on now is important. But what I've learned is that when I start to link my today actions to the future possibility of who I can be, how I can lead, how I can support my family first, and then obviously the world, that's everything. So I'm with you, Ellie. Like, being around people who see the world through that lens, but especially women, because women are natural givers. We're brilliant. We're solution focused people. We're not just like, do this, because that's the pivoting stuff is a lot of masculine energy, which there's nothing wrong with that, because you need to tap into that action part of you to get shit done. And I think, like, if there's a knowing and then you're around other women that know, it actually helps your confidence in a million% ways. So I think what you're doing, Ali, with the trust and everything that you're doing to speak about the bigger picture is what we really need right now.
Yeah. Thank you. I had I took a swig of my water
It's
and
totally cool.
I'm like, this is so good. I don't want to ruin it. She's saying some wonderful things. I didn't mean to like choke there, but I'm all choked up. Thank you. But it's true. And you know what I'll say too, it's important to have to tag on that an unbiased group of entrepreneurs to talk with, people that aren't all brainwashed into one particular kind of system or way of doing things. I mean, you need objective minded, smart people around you to say, what, you know what, I know you're doing this, but have you looked at this, or think of this, and I do this, but you shouldn't be doing this at all, maybe think of a different model. So it's this openness that it's interesting. The exclusivity and who you choose to be around is important, but make sure that there's an openness there in information, in how they view things, and that they're forward thinking. And you've always been
Absolutely.
that way, Jen. So thank you for being here today. And
Thank
go listen
you.
to that Glambition Radio episode at glambitionradio.com. Will take you right to the Apple version of the podcast. And to learn more about the trust, go to jointhetrust.org. We're planning some incredible live and virtual. We're going to be ready, to go either way, coming up in the next few months. And we'd love to let you know more about it. If you qualified, talk with my team, have a look there. Thanks, Jen.
Thanks,
Everyone, leave
Ali.
a note in the
Bye.
comments below. We'll get back to you later. Bye.